So, welcome to the Bladesworn guide, the World vs. World Bladesworn guide by me. I've been playing this build for about 2 weeks now, and it kind of started off as a meme, but it turned out it's actually pretty legit. And with all the incoming nerfs, it can actually possibly be something that's played that you can pick up. So, let's start. On agenda, we'll go through basically 6 questions. There is also 7th one. First, why and why not Bladesworn? Then we'll go to the core concepts, to dragon triggers, which are the Bladesworn bursts. Then we'll go to Lush Forest, Healsworn and Staff, and Boonsworn and utilities. So, why Bladesworn? Currently, it's the only class that can provide AoE quickness and alacrity at the same time. Also worth a note, the AoE quickness and alacrity are 600 radius, which is, a lot more than your usual supports. Also, it gets to use shorter cooldowns on powerful warrior abilities like Battle Standard, Tactics Banner, Shake It Off to the Limit, etc. Generally speaking, together with Alacrity, you can lower the cooldowns by around a half. So Battle Standard, think about it as a 70-second cooldown instead. Tactics Banner is like up permanently almost. Shake It Off, half to the limit, half, etc. Good. Then you have access to Uncapped, still, with changes in the future. Electric Fence with shorter cooldown. I mean, Electric Fence is kind of a Bladesworn unique thing, so I'll show you later. Then it's mobile and it can actually take a hit. You heal a lot yourself and allies, but I mean, you have a specific minor trait that can heal you back up pretty much instantly. So this is safe for yourself. It's also able to merge roles of Alacrity provider and a capable healer. So this is the approach of Healsworn. We provide Alacrity and we also heal and do other stuff. Also, it is definitely a unique playstyle that you won't find anywhere else. Additionally, you get to play previously unused spec in World vs. World. Who've seen Bladesworn outside of like PvP, some PvE, like a couple years ago. Also, support warrior hyper. It can use staff. Now, why not Bladesworn? So, first, it's a support warrior. It has some downsides, right? It has to generate adrenaline, or in this case, flow. Then, it has fast playstyle. It's a lot of bottle pressing. If you're not keen on pressing, out of buttons, you have very high ping, that might not be for you. Also, it's quite low CC. What it can bring is the Electric Fence, which is a CC, but this is optional. Also, some boons, even though this build excels at providing boons, some boons will be missing in the real combat. So it will be protection for Boonsworn or Swiftness Regen Vigor for Healsworn, since Healsworn doesn't run Warhorn combat, and the only source of regen is staff auto attack completion, which is tricky because Healsworn doesn't have all that much time on staff to complete a lot of auto attack chains, right? Well, you'll see, but the concept is you don't auto a lot, at least on staff. You don't spend much time there. And through that, low regions means that you get outputted on arc healing totals. So if you ever checked arc healing breakdowns, a lot of the top healers are basically the ones that provide regeneration, and the regeneration is present. Regeneration often accounts for like majority of their healing. So this will be druids, this will be vindicators, tempests, right? Even tempests, but mostly druids nowadays. So yeah, you don't really provide regions, so this total will be kind of skewed against you. However, if you rest people with a banner, it will impact the the logs. It counts as healing, right? So it's big. So you can pad this way. You would rather use banner when you actually need it. Also, it has bursty healing. Overall, it's not as much as heal vindicator or druid. What I mean by this is that, well, shouts by nature are bursty, right? Each shout heals for upwards of like 5-6k, or like 4, maybe 4 or 5k, and that's quite a bit, right? That's quite a bit, and they're instant, but they run out even if you recharge them a lot faster. So with consistent pressure, you'll be behind the real stars of the show, which is Heal Vindicator and Druid. But now keep in mind that if these two are ever nerfed, well, all the other heals get automatically better. Now, it doesn't function well with lots of skill lag. What you might have already noticed with fast playstyle and a lots of button pressing, similar to a lot of warrior builds, it struggles because it doesn't want to get stuck on a gun saber for too long, for example. So yeah, it will have troubles. Also, alacrity providing is a bit harder than pressing just one button like Renegade, because, well, you actually have to press 2 buttons, but it's just it's not like you press one button every 30 seconds and everyone has alacrity. It's kind of a more of a upkeep sort of rotational alacrity. Also, especially if you're healing, sometimes you might need to delay Dragon Slash and sacrifice a bit of alacrity uptime. The cooldown on Dragon Slash is about 5 seconds. The duration of alacrity is about 6 seconds. So, yeah, it's a bit of a upkeeping, but you know, you don't need 100% uptime, right? Also, nothing really other than Renegade provides 100% or 100% uptime, so it outpaces all the other options already. So, with core concepts, we come with Flow. Flow is this orange bar that slowly generates. It's basically adrenaline. When you enter combat, it starts slowly regenerating, and you can get like flow stacks that increase the speed of generation. On these builds, you can specifically increase it by swapping weapons in combat, healing yourself, or using a heal skill. Your heal skill gives a bunch of flow already, and it speeds up the formation. Gunsaber. So, with Bladesworn, you no longer have a real weapon swap, right? You're stuck with one weapon, and your other weapon is your Gunsaber. So F1 functions as a weapon swap, by the way. So Gunsaber is 5 weapon skills, all are semi-ranged. By that I mean they do some damage at range, but they do full effect at melee range. But since neither of these builds I present are DPS builds. Don't really care that much. After using Dragon Trigger, you're also put on the Gun Saber for 4 seconds. So during that 4-second period, you will be using the Saber ammo skills. Oh, great. As you can see, 2, 3, 4 are kind of the DPS ones. They're a fairly short cooldown. Fifth one is mobility. It's kind of like a mobility skill. It launches you forward or at your target. So it's kind of important to not just int somewhere. So you have to kind of be careful. But the first 3 you can use freely, and you will be basically as a healer or as a boon provider. You don't care much about their damage. What you care about is the fact there are ammo skills and they're short cool. So let's go forward. Once you sheath Gun Saber, once you can, sheath Gun Saber, do it ASAP. This applies to both builds. You don't want to be on the Gun Saber for any longer than you're forced to. You want to use the ammo skills and get the fuck out. Okay, let's go with Dragon Trigger. This is the blade studding spec. Therefore, we use a blade. And we have an anime move called Dragon Trigger. When we use our F2, see on this picture, we enter the Dragon Trigger state, which renders us immobile. You can cancel it by moving, but I wouldn't recommend it. It replaces both our burst skills. Well, both. Only have one weapon, but we don't have a burst skill with this. Now we have 3 kind of versions of spending it. The first is a horizontal slash. We don't do much damage, so it's whatever. The second one is mobility. It's a 900 range dash forward or at the target. That can be used for mobility. And the third one is ranged. It's 900 range, and for us it's the best. It's also unblockable. It's reliable, it's good. It doesn't do great damage, but none of them will a lot of great damage. 4 or 5 are ammo skills. Fourth skill, it gives instant Aegis. And fifth is an instant, very short range Shadow Step. You don't really use these for anything else than rocking Lush Forest, and we'll discuss Lush Forest in a second. Also, because you're not really doing damage and slashing with katana to kill people, you don't charge your triggers. you just enter trigger and release it ASAP. Charging has no effect on alacrity duration, and once you trigger, allies within 600 range gains 6 seconds of alacrity. Even out of combat, but obviously to have the flow, you kinda have to be in combat, or you can use the heal skill, but discuss later. And obviously this is the alacrity gain. Exactly. Alternatively, your heal skill gives you a chunk of flow, so it's kind of barely enough for one kind of Dragon Trigger. So if you want to use this in such a way. Now, the star of the show, the Lush Forest. The thing that makes the playstyle is this little trait. So, using first round of ammo of an ammunition skill recharges skill reduces the recharge for your skills, and it doesn't affect basically bursts or the cooldowns of going into Gun Saber or out of Gun Saber. So, translating it maybe a bit better. So let's say you have a skill that has 2 ammo. Using this skill once will recharge all the other warrior skills by 1 second. But only this first charge. If you use the second charge, it won't do anything, and it will kind of actually hurt you because your second charge, the max charge, will be back later, right? So you want to use the first charge of ammo skills. Also, this effect has a 1 second internal cooldown. But that, I mean, for example, if you had instant 3 ammo skills and you were to use all first charges of all of them altogether at once, this trait will only trigger once because you didn't wait. Therefore, kind of have to have a sort of internal clock of 1 second, or roughly just gauge it. That yeah, you basically spend these ammo skills in 1 second. Obviously, the more ammo skills, the bigger the effect, bro. But I kind of made this build not too. If you have shouts that heal, and they have ammo, don't just kind of sit on it, you know, for that 1 second. If someone needs a heal, use it for healing, okay? Actually, majority of the procs will come from gun saber skills. And here on this GIF I made, you can see how it works. So, you see that this recharges normally, right? And, well, this recharges normally. And then you can see that if I use this skill, it will be more visible in a second. Actually, right about now, you see this kind of jumped up 2 seconds forward, right? Yeah, this is basically the lush forest work. So the regular 1 second and the other 1 second. Keep in mind, this might not look impressive on one skill, but this affects all the skills, all your utilities, weapon skills, within Dragon Trigger, within Gun Saber. So it really snowballs, as you might imagine. So yeah, this is the core of the playstyle on Gun Saber. When you're in Gun Saber, you focus on proccing Lush Forest, so your staff skills and your utilities are coming back just faster and faster. This is kind of the loop, right? So you enter Dragon Trigger, you provide alacrity, and then you're stuck on this Gun Saber for a while. You proc Lush Forest, then you go back to your weapon skills, use those, go back to Dragon Trigger, give alacrity, and it just circuits around. So this is the basic gist of it. So now that we've explained it, let's go with builds. This is the Healsworn. This uses Trooper Relic, Minstrel Gear, Water Runes, Concentration Fusions, and hitting 100% of BD, which is boon duration, is actually very important to upkeep alacrity. Because, as I said, it's only 6 seconds. And we can provide it only every about 5 seconds. So, it's important to have it. We bring transference and concentration sigils on staff. On Warhorn, which we'll use pre-fight to give our party swiftness, awesome vigor, and we'll also use it for blasting, because both of Warhorn skills are blasts. We'll have a bounty sigil, like just stack a couple stacks on some gods, and this will be easily enough to reach 100 boon duration. Common heal food and utilities are right, nothing special. Standard oil with concentration and concentration oil. and just standard healer foot with plus outgoing healing and healing power concentration, right? As for the weapon, obviously staff. This is the healer weapon. This is the new goodness. We have 3 shouts for great justice. Shake it off, which is actually very good shout, because it will cleanse 5 conditions and stun, break, and heal. And since we are reducing the cooldowns by a fair bit, we'll have a lot more access to them than, for example, a Spellbreaker. And we also have 2 banners, Banner of Tactics and Elite Banner. Elite Banner obviously is used for rezzing and for stomping. However, with this build, you have access to it. Yes, the cooldown, right? Banner of Tactics is honestly best used in melee because it stacks insane amounts of resistance, but discuss later. Let's go. Continuing on Healsworn. It doesn't offer quickness, but it offers good protection. Protection comes from Staff 3 and Soldier's Focus, so whenever you spend Soldier's Focus, the sort of trait we gain every 10 seconds will basically heal allies and apply 6 seconds of protection. Don't mind the screen, I didn't have utilities up. Etc. Burst healing stuff. Burst healing happens with shouts, staff, and soldiers' focus procs. This is basically our heal. A lush forest and alacrity make skills a lot more spammable, as I said. It has poor region access because it's the region that's tied to third staff auto attack. And as you might imagine, this is quite fast, so you don't auto attack a lot. It's a rotational healer because once you're in Dragon Trigger, you're locked out of staff for 4 seconds, right? Because you're stuck on Gun Saber. So you kind of have to, keep it in mind. Sometimes you might have to delay going into Dragon Trigger a bit, but that's all good. Almost all staff skills we back off cooldowns with every rotation, right? Because of alacrity and lush forest and basically everything but 5th skill will back off cooldown and ready to be used. It has decent cleansing, amazing burst healing when we, pack everything, all the shouts, all the staff skills. It can burst heal quite a bit, and it has insane resistance uptime with Tactics Banner. Now, onto the Boonsworn. The Boonsworn has similar concepts, but it functions a bit differently. It's also a bit easier and more flexible. So, only requirement for Boonsworn is 100% wound duration. Then you can take it anywhere, right? You can take Diviner's Gear, Marauders, Celestial, that's fine. Although I wouldn't really recommend going for the Diviner's Marauders possibly, because the damage is not great. Or you can take just Minstrel. And if you take Minstrel, you might as well take like Defense Banner to give a lot of barrier. And yeah, as all the skills, you have more access to Defense Banner, so it's good. Only Tactics Banner stays because the resistance uptime and stability is just an insane cooldown to have, right? Electric Fence is nice. This is the uncapped immobilize line. If enemies cross it and they are crippled, will be immobilized. And you actually have 2 charges of it. It's an ammo skill, so it kind of plays into the lush forest. Continuing on Boonsworn, it gives all the boons but protection, or it could take some if you, or you could, apply some if you take Soldier's Comfort. It's also fairly easy to play. That's what you want, right? That's what you like. That's what you like from Guild Wars to World vs. World guilds. You can spam your buttons. Concept is, you use your burst skill and you use Warhorn for off CD. That's good, soldier. That's all you need. Well, I'm oversimplifying, but generally speaking, this is how you upkeep alacrity and quickness, right? Note, in order to proc martial cadence, they make a screenshot of this. I think it. Oh yeah, I did. In order to proc our main source of quickness, which is tied to the 10 seconds recurring bonus, recurring trait that has 10-second cooldown, and it's spent when you hit with burst skill, but you have to hit, which means blocks, evades, etc. can actually prevent you from giving the quickness. Therefore, we'll be using it with Dragon Trigger third skill, which is unblockable, and it's range, it's reliable. So, yeah, this is how you be doing majority of your quickness along with your alacrity. Be hitting your burst skills and using Warhorn 4. Good. It can be tweaked to your liking. As I said, the gear, different utilities, it's kind of changeable. And obviously remember to place Tactics Ban at the spot of melee clashes, because the pulsing resistance, nothing comes close, no other build, trust me. As far as notes go, Gun Saber skills don't really matter, but as I said, Saber 5 is a launch forward or archer target, so be careful with that. Dragon triggers follow targeted enemy. If you want to use Dragon Trigger 2 for movement, detarget first. Important, don't want to zoom into enemy Zerg. You can manipulate the passive Shake It Off by using Staff 5 block first. Note, Well of Corruption can proc it. You can try to manipulate it, right? So you can, once there is a clash, and some CCs go out, maybe someone of your party gets like immobilized or stunned with stripped. If you blocked the first attacks, the next attacks will probably have some sort of conditions, and the passive Shake It Off, it procs as soon as you get one condition, right? So, yeah, it will go off immediately, and stun break. It also stun breaks. Yeah, and it will heal full amount, so it's a nice trick. Warhorn skill blast and can be used for pre-booning or blasting stealth. Good. Staff 3 makes ally skills unblockable, including your pull and Staff 4. So you can use Staff 3 into Staff 4 and have unblockable 600 range pull, which is pretty decent. And you have a lot of access to this on Healsworn. Applying Might to allies also heals you for a lot. A single Might Shout is 4000 heal on Minstrel. Yeah, it applies. It heals you for shit. As I said, this build is quite survivable as long as you don't get like crowd control to death. Your Shout heal not only heals but it also reserves 100 endurance to the party. That's 2 extra dodges. So after crossing the enemy, you can use it. If your party double dodged, they can double dodge right back, right again. And this would be it for Bladesworn. I obviously didn't go through every single skill on staff, etc. But you can kind of read them yourself. I won't be reading the skills for you. Therefore, this kind of concludes the training. Thank you very much.